Hello and welcome back to my channel. It is that time again. It's time for another Notion template tour. Today we're going through the first page I ever made in Notion, and that's my book tracker. I will show you how this template works and features I've added so that you can use it yourself or make one of your own. This and all of my other templates are available in my Etsy shop, which is linked down below. So go there if you want to purchase any of them. Okay, so let's not waste any more time and let's get on to the tour. So to start off, I'm going to show you how I have used my book tracker and all the features in how they work when there's multiple books. At the top of the page, we have my books read tracker, so my pages read tracker, and then underneath it, we have the genre tracker. So in each of these, you can see how many books I've read, how many pages I've read, and how many of each genre that I've read. And these all talk to the master database, which is down below, and that's how they find these numbers. You don't need to add them in manually. To the side of this is something that's not in the template, which is a Google Sheet that tracks just how many pages I've read each day. That's just something I've put in manually as a visual way to see how much I'm reading and when. If you go down to the bottom of the page, you'll see my complete reading list in a table view, and there's also a gallery view just to show all the book covers. And this is what every other database will talk to populate information from this database. Above it, we have my 5-star reads, and I'll talk more about how this works in a second. And then you have the TBR and the monthly reads. So you can see for September, I've not read as many as I planned to. And a monthly reads, say in June, you can see every book that I read in June in both the table view and the gallery view again. A manual way to see how many books and pages you've read that month, as well as this section that I've called 2-sentence book reviews, where I just write quick little notes on each book that I've read. There's also these book wishlist pages, which I'll show you more in the actual template as I've changed how they work a bit. Okay, so let's go on to the actual template itself. I'll start off with going through what each of the databases does, and then we'll put in some example books to see how it works. These first 3 databases are the trackers themselves, so how many books you've read, how many pages you've read, and how many books of each genre you've read. All 3 of these databases are located in this reading goals tracker page. There's nothing you need to do on this page itself. This is just where the master databases are stored, so they can't be accidentally deleted. Books read and pages read are formatted the same. They just grab different information from the master database of the complete reading list. So for books read, it is a roll-up that just counts every single book in the list and shows it as a number. You then add your own manual goal, and based on that goal and the number you have read, it will calculate a percent. This percent then goes over to this progress bar formula, where based on the percentage of your goal that you have read, it will come up with filled in hearts and a number as you go. Pages read works the same, just rather than counting simply how many books you've read, for each book, when you add a number of pages, it will sum them all together. The genre database also works similarly. So when you add a book to the complete reading list, you select what genre it is, and this roll-up will count how many books for each genre individually. And then this formula here, I've just created to have a little stylized way of counting how many books you've read for each genre, rather than just having it as a plain number beneath the genre's name. And next is monthly reads. Monthly reads is half automatic, half manual. So up at the top, you have books read and pages read. These are manual inputs that you have to do yourself, but you will see the counts down here from this database. This database will automatically populate with any books that you mark as being read in June, and so you don't need to add them in here yourself as long as you add them to the correct month in the complete reading list. Lastly, on the month page, there are the 2-sentence book reviews. This is just something I added so that I can remember what I thought about a book after I read it if I want to go back and have a look. And this is something you don't have to do, it's just manually typing it in if you want to have that memory. Then there is the monthly TBR. This is completely manual. Basically, you just have this blank to-do list that you write in any books that you want to read that month. And then as you complete them, you can tick it off. The last visual database is 5-star reads. This will automatically populate with any books that you mark as a rating of 5 stars and will just show up here so that you can quickly look at any books that you really loved. So that brings us to our master database, the complete reading list. On here, you have all the information that I thought you would need for a book: the title, the author, what rating you've gave it, how many pages, what genre and moods the book is, as well as the date you started, the date you finished, and what month that was. Almost all of these properties will then relate back to our other databases that I've shown you, and that's how those databases will get populated. So now that I've given you a brief overview of all the features, let's add an example book to visually see how they all work. So let's do this in the order that you would do it normally. And the first thing you would want to be doing is adding a monthly TBR. So let's add the book that we're going to add. And that's the book we want to read this month. And then you go on and read the book. And now that you've finished the book, you can add it into this complete reading list. So let's add in the title and the author. Then we want to give it a rating, and we'll give this one 5 stars. And you'll see it'll automatically show up in the 5-star reads up above. Next, we're going to add how many pages it is. And when you add that, you'll see it'll sum down below. Next, we need to add the genres and the moods. So for genres, I typically use Goodreads just because that's where I log my reading as well. So if we go onto Goodreads, and you'll see the genres right here. You can put in as little or as many genres as you want, and you don't have to get them from Goodreads. You can get them from somewhere else, or you can just come up with them on your own based on how you felt the book was. So for Happy Place, I'm going to put romance. Similarly for moods, instead of Goodreads, I use Storygraph, and I just look up the book and add the moods that it says are related. So for Happy Place, Storygraph says it's emotional, funny, and hopeful, so I add those in. Then you also need to add in the date started and the date finished. The date finished will automatically put the date that you're adding the book. If you're not adding the book the day that you finished it, you can just change it easily. So let's say we did this from the 4th until the 10th. And then you also need to add the month, and the month is September. You can also change the template to automatically add the month. So if you go into the template and click edit, you can then click so that every time you make a new entry, it'll add September. But then when you go to the next month, when we're in October, you need to reopen this template and switch to October. In the template, you'll see that there's 2 hidden properties. These are the relations for books read and pages read. So any book that you add using this template will automatically populate into these 2 databases up above, so you don't have to think about adding them. If you add new templates, you need to make sure to add these to the templates, or to make sure to add it to each entry that you put in. Next, to make sure that things look pretty in the gallery views, we want to add a book cover. So if we open the entry here and go to add cover and add in our link, you'll see that the cover shows up, and then you can reposition it wherever you want. And once you save, you'll see in the 5-star reads, you'll now see the cover, as well as if you change to the gallery view of the complete reading list. This is just to give a nice visual representation of things. You don't have to do this if you don't want. Now that we've finished reading the book, we can go back up here and we need to tick it off our TBR. So you see, check it off, and then we've completed our TBR for the month. Then if we go into September monthly reads, you'll see it now shows up. And this is where we need to do some manual things. So you'll see the counts down here will automatically show how many books you've read and how many pages. And you can also add it in here in a nicer, colorful place to read it. You can also change these monthly reads views to a gallery view if you don't want to see any info and just want to see the books covers that you've read. Now we can also add in the 2-sentence book review. So you can structure this however you want. I just have the heading of the book and the author, how many stars I've gave it, and then whatever I'm saying about it. And then I will add a divider underneath before the next book. You can not do this at all. You can change how you do it. It's really up to you because it's just manually done. And then that's the book for the month. You'll see now when we go up to these trackers, you'll see in romance, it has changed to 1 book read. And if you open it, it will show that book. So this is just a way that you can look at specific genres and how many you've read of each and which ones they were. Then we need to look at our goals. So you can see it shows that we've read 1 book and we've read 385 pages, but there's nothing in the progress bar. And that's because we haven't added a goal yet. Let's say we want to read 10 books this year and we want to read 1,000 pages. You'll see now the progress bar automatically shows that we've read 10% of our goal of books read, and we've read 39% of our goals of pages read. And lastly, I'll show you the book wish list. So this page is just a simple place so you can put any books that you want to buy to keep track of, as well as what store that they come from and any URLs. Any books that you mark that you want to buy 5 out of 5 will automatically show up in the next to buy, so you can see in a smaller table if you have a lot of books that you want to buy, which ones you are prioritizing purchasing. So let's put in an example. Let's say Beach Read. So you can see, because I put 5 in the want column, it's automatically come into the next to buy. If I put in another book and only put in a 4, you'll see it won't come up. But then if I change this and decide I really want this book and change it to a 5, it will then come back up. And if I change my mind about Beach Read, put it down to a 4, it'll disappear again. This is just so when you have a lot of books that you want to buy, you can easily see the ones that you really want to buy first. So that is my book tracker template. I hope this video gave you some good insight into how this template works, or gave you some ideas to make one of your own. I still have more template videos coming, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of them. And head to my Etsy shop down below if you want to buy any of the templates I've designed myself. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.